Hey everyone, welcome to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird.
I'm Ruxpin.
Here to do a Christmas TV review for you guys. That is to say, there were 2 episodes of 2 different TV shows that we watched that are very holiday themed. One being the 9th episode of the 14th season of Supernatural, which was definitely much looser as far as the Christmas tie-ins go.
Yeah, like it started off like, it's Christmas. And then
it's like, it doesn't matter if it's Christmas or not.
Nobody cares. Yeah.
And then the second thing we're going to be talking about is the holiday-themed special episode of The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. So let's dive into Supernatural first, Marcia. So this is, now again, we just reviewed the first 6 episodes. Marcia still hasn't finished the 7th, but we both have watched the 8th.
I'm halfway there.
Both have watched the 8th, and now we've both watched the 9th. So we're going to be talking about the 9th episode, which is tying up a lot of stuff from the first half of the season. Is this the mid-season finale?
Yeah.
It has to be, right?
Yeah, it is.
But only 9 episodes in for a 22-episode season. It's kind of weird.
I know, but I distinctly remember the last episode saying next episode's the last one before the break, which makes sense because we're about to hit playoffs in football season, which is when everything kind of breaks down. The same thing with Walking Dead. And
so this definitely wrapped up a lot of storylines from the first half of the season, and in fact brought back some that we didn't expect to be brought back. Excitingly enough. Now, there might be mild spoilers. We'll try and not spoil anything, though, for those of you that are actually watching the show. But, Marcia, why don't you tell them a little bit about what this episode was about?
So, this episode... Okay, so I just watched it, and... I've had a few cocktails, I'm sorry.
Fair enough.
No, this episode was great because it was talking about Michael and kind of
bringing back Archangel Michael.
We got to see Garth, which was really awesome, and kind of diving into what's happening next with the whole Michael war. So they actually talked about the different weapons. We brought back the English dude. Trying to find the
Catch
egg
from the British Men of Letters.
Yes, getting the egg so they can try to. They thought that was going to save or ward off Michael.
Didn't work quite as well.
Then they got the spear, which makes sense. They haven't tested that out, but it'll be interesting. And Dean.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil it, but
we can't spoil it. But we'll just say that the very first 2 episodes of the season were all about Dean having been possessed by Michael.
And I was super sad because there was only 2 seasons.
It was only 2 episodes.
Yes.
But apparently it might not just be 2 episodes after all. That's all we're going to say. So it was actually really good. We got some Jack stuff. We got some, some good Sam and Dean stuff. We got a little bit of Ketch stuff, like you said, some good Castiel and Jack stuff, because Castiel had to make a deal in order to save Jack in episode 8.
Yeah.
So that all came back into play, but it was just cool. It was a nice... there wasn't really much of a holiday tie-in after they mentioned Christmas.
Yeah, they just kind of mentioned Christmas, and there was no real, bad or anything that they were fighting. It was just... I mean, there was, but not really. It was just, focusing on closing up, like you said, closing up the loose ends and kind of projecting us into the next part of the story.
Right, because now Michael is back, and Michael is as strong as we've seen him. And Sam and Castiel and Dean's hopes have taken a bit of a speed bump, I would say.
It was fun to see Garth again.
Yeah.
And to see...
Garth playing his werewolf self, who basically Michael's plan is to have a bunch of supernatural creatures drink a portion of his essence in order to beef them up for the upcoming war against the humans.
Right. Which is really interesting because instead of just trying to wipe out humans, he's just going to turn them into all monsters. He
said he's trying to do something different than he did on his world, which was death from above via fireballs.
Right.
And then, which was what the post-apocalyptic world that we, pulled everyone out of last year. So
the one thing, though, that I keep thinking about is how, the vampires got also, crazy because there wasn't enough humans to sustain the amount of volume of monsters. So if they turn all the humans into monsters, then we're going to run into that same problem. Oh man, it's going to be crazy.
True.
Oh, I'm so excited though. I feel like they're going in a very interesting route, and they did make me go, what? A few times so far, and you know, being the 14th season, it's so hard to do that, and the fact that they were able to do that successfully makes me so excited.
So is it only going to be an 18-episode season then, if they only did 9 in the first half?
Maybe, I don't know.
Instead of 22?
I
don't know. Yeah, I'm not that informed either, so I'll be interested to see what happens, but let's move on to the second thing we want to talk about, which was of course, the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina just had their first season drop in October.
Right.
And it was a 10-episode season, and it was very engaging. We reviewed the whole first season not too long ago. We'll link to that at the end of this, but we just got dropped a special holiday-themed episode, a full hour-long episode of Sabrina, and it continued the story pretty much where the last one left off.
Right.
I mean, we see that Zelda is still caring for the baby that she made Reverend Blackthorn, or whatever his name is, believe that had died.
Right.
So they're watching over this baby, and the summer or the winter solstice is coming, and so they're getting ready for Christmas, aka the winter solstice. And Sabrina accidentally, of course, as usual, screws up and releases energy that she shouldn't while trying to do good.
Tries to do her own thing without consulting people who know better.
This is Marcia's biggest pet peeve.
Yes, I hate her.
But basically, something gets unleashed because she does something, and someone, not spoiling anything, puts out the Yule log,
right,
which is meant to protect the home over the holidays, and something gets through, which is a group of ghostly kids playing tricks and everything, and it leads to an age-old witch that gets involved, and then actually leads to something even bigger, which involves one of Sabrina's friends. So she has a couple of friends, and then there's a mall Santa demon.
Male. Well, he is male. Male mall
Santa demon who is basically collecting kids that play his elves throughout the years and making them into wax statues, living wax statues. So
really creepy.
It's really creepy indeed. And it was a fun episode because it also put forward some of the personal stuff. Like they addressed the Harvey stuff with Sabrina and took that, like, at least made a step forward, whether it was a step forward for good or a step forward for bad. There was a step forward made. So I like that they made use of this extra bit of time because we're getting the new season dropping in April.
Right.
So not too long down the line, and this is sort of meant to bridge that time. And I really enjoyed it. I liked seeing everyone come back. It was fun for me. What about for you?
I was kind of excited about it because, you know, actually, recently I've been thinking about how different TV series are today than it was when we were growing up. Like, especially around the holidays, like, it was always a big deal to get the Halloween episode, the Christmas episode, the New Year's episode. You know, like, you get excited for those because you're like, oh, something's gonna happen, and you don't really get that anymore.
Like Buffy every year had stuff happen on the holidays, and you looked forward to those episodes.
Right, right. And so I feel like this year we're seeing a lot more of that. Even if it was like Supernatural is just kind of a mention of it, but still it's a little bit of like, oh yeah, recognition, it is the holidays, and it's just something about it that makes it feel different and just more of connecting you as the audience to the actual television. Like, oh, we're in real time, right? But this one was really special because it was a bonus episode and it was centralized around Christmas. So it really felt like a Christmas episode, even with the demons and the Yule kids and all of that. Like, it was really special. I thought they did a really good job. Even though some of the aspects of Sabrina as a whole does bother me, the storyline, I thought they were very successful with this episode and engagement and story, and with the good use of characters, and even with the the demons and everything that they did show us. So the Yuletide demon, I forget what his name is, but he was really cool and impressive. So I thought they did a really good job.
I agree. It maintained its sense of humor. It maintained its intrigue. And actually, it brought a personal touch that we didn't get in the first season regarding Sabrina's family. That was like, oh, wow, they're laying this out in a holiday episode rather than waiting for the second season. That's actually pretty cool.
About the mom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting because the mom plays heavily as far as Sabrina's thoughts and everything like that go. So it's really a good episode that bridges the gap between the two seasons. I haven't seen, obviously, the second season yet, but it feels like it's going to be a very good bridge.
Yeah, I feel like they did enough to hold you over to the next season with giving you more information. Like, it wasn't just like, oh, look, these are the characters you already know when we're dancing around for the Christmas Yuletide log. It was like, oh, yeah, but we're also going to give you a continuation of the story. We're going to let you know what's going on between Harvey and Sabrina, and her friends and her family, and how all that ties in, and how they handled the baby Letitia. Was so good. I thought they did a really great job.
I did too.
I keep saying that, but that's for somebody who wasn't super impressed with the series altogether. I was super impressed with this episode, taking it all into.
So you're more excited about the second season now?
Not really.
No? Okay, fair enough.
No, I just thought I really enjoyed this special episode because it didn't rely on so much about Sabrina like doing the exact opposite of what she obviously should be doing. I mean, she did something kind of that like she was going to cause trouble, but it wasn't enough to make you annoyed with it.
Fair enough. All right, well, why don't you guys let us know in the comments down below. Did you watch the Christmas episode of either Supernatural Season 14 or Sabrina Season 1? Let us know what you thought. If so, don't spoil anything, but are you guys actually watching these shows, or are you more or less inclined to watch these shows after watching our reviews? I'd be very curious about your opinions. Let us know in the comments down below. Until next time, I've been Cecil Laird.
I'm Ruxpin.
And remember,
stay
scared.